This situation is somewhat like the moon, in that when there are people who cannot see it, it prompts them all to say, "The moon has sunk," and so creates the idea of the moon sinking away. In truth, the nature of the moon is such that it does not sink away. Since its visibility shifts in other regions, in those locations living beings will be thinking, "The moon has come out." In truth, the nature of the moon is that it never comes out either. Why? Because it is merely not visible when it is blocked by Mount Sumeru. The moon is always in existence. Its nature is such that there is no coming out or sinking. The Tathagata, worthy of offerings, perfectly enlightened one, is also like this. He comes out into the great Trichilakasm on occasion, manifesting in Jambudvipa with a father and mother. Living beings all think that the Tathagata came into existence in Jambudvipa, or that the Tathagata has manifested his nirvana in Jambudvipa, but, in fact, there is no nirvana in the nature of Tathagatas. Living beings may think that truly the Tathagata's parinirvana will be just like when the moon goes away. But, in truth, the nature of the Tathagata is without coming into existence or going out of existence. It is for the purpose of spiritually transforming living beings that a Tathagata shows himself to come into or go out of existence. What we see as a full moon will manifest as only half full when viewed from another locale, and what we see as half full will be seen as a full moon when viewed from another locale. When people in Jambudvipa see the first crescent of the moon, they all think they perceive the first day of the month, and when the moon is full, they think of that as the 15th day, and have the idea that the moon's cycle is complete. But the nature of the moon is such that it actually neither waxes nor wanes. The perceived increase or decrease in its size is due to Mount Sumeru. The presence of the Tathagata in Jambudvipa is like this. He manifests birth, he manifests nirvana, and so forth. When initially he comes into existence, like the first crescent moon, everyone thinks that a child has been born. When the infant takes those 7 steps, it is like the 2nd day in a month. When he manifests himself entering school, it is like the 3rd day in a month. When he leaves his household to enter the religious life, it is like the 8th day in a month. When he shines forth the subtle light of wisdom that can destroy the innumerable hordes of Maras lurking among living beings, it is like a full moon on the 15th day of the lunar cycle. When he manifests his 32 major and 80 minor physical marks, adorning himself even while he shows himself to be passing into nirvana, it is like an eclipse of the moon. Thus, what living beings see is not the same. They may see a half moon, they may see a full moon, or they may see a lunar eclipse. And yet the nature of the moon is such that despite the appearance of it waxing and waning and going into eclipse, in truth it is always fully rounded. The body of the Tathagata is just like this. That is why I refer to it as permanently abiding and unchanging. Consider further the metaphor of the full moon and all its manifestations to viewers here and there, how it appears in cities, towns, and villages, reflected in water collected between mountains, in wells, ponds, large bowls, and water jars. There are living beings that, over the course of traveling 100 yojanas or 100,000 yojanas, see the moon as constantly following them. There are also ordinary ignorant people who, having mistaken conceptions of their experience, may say, "I saw the moon previously when I was in town, or when I was in my home. Now I see it from here, standing in this wide open space. Is this the same moon that I saw before, or is it a different one?" They also wonder about the size and shape of the moon changing, or if it is really shaped like the opening of a water jar. Some say, "It looks like a big wheel." Some say, "It seems to be 49 yojanas across." Everyone sees the light of the moon, but some say what they are seeing is a sphere that looks like a golden disk. The moon has only one nature, but there are a variety of living beings, and each sees something different in it. It is much the same with the Tathagata appearing in the world. There are some humans who think, the Tathagata is present right here in front of me, right now. And there are those who are naturally unable to hear or unable to speak, who perceive the Tathagata as also being unable to hear or unable to speak. There are also various groups of living beings, each using a different form of speech, all of whom think that the Tathagatas all use the same language as their own. And there are individuals who may also think, he was present in my house when he accepted my offering. There are also living beings that look upon the body of the Tathagata as being immeasurably large, just as there are some who see it as extremely small. There are some who will see the Buddha in the form of a Shravaka, and there are some who will see the Buddha in the form of a Pratyeka Buddha. There are also heretics who each think, the Tathagata is present now so that he can become a renunciant to study our Dharma. And there are also living beings who think, the Tathagata has come into the world now only just for me. The true nature of the Tathagata may thus be compared to the moon in that his body is a Dharma body rather than a body that is born into existence. It is a body of expediency that becomes visible in conforming with the world. As the result of innumerable causal forces set in motion in the distant past, the Buddha thus becomes visible much like the moon does, appearing to those who are in this or that locale as if he is being born where they are. It is in this sense that I speak of the Tathagata as abiding permanently and immutable.